Well, I'm somewhat caught up to like 300 emails or postings or however responses, however you want to look at it. There was a lot that I missed in a week that I was gone. Kind of got it all caught up. Might have missed a few. Sorry if I have. Um, but they're trying to remember, because what I like to do is answer comments that are made and then make videos about what my opinion is on it. Because I think, well, I can't explain myself in 100 text or less. Trust me, I get misunderstood. It's like I need a 15-minute tape and maybe part 2 and part 3 to make a point. I can't say things in a very, very short amount of time, especially writing, because my writing skills suck. But I'm trying to remember some of the comments that I read. There's some links to some videos that y'all might like. I found them all really interesting. I've been busy watching them too. But one question that I was asked was, what do I know about God? And I forget the specific questions, but how do you know God's there? Or how do you know that there is a God, or you've got a connection with God? And all I can go by is my own personal experiences. It's like when something happens, you know there is no doubt. It's like nobody can tell you anything different. You have just like I know this is a real deal. Yeah, I know that this is God. I know that you cannot explain this. Nobody would understand. That's kind of like having a God experience. What I know is God was always there for me when I was younger, but I was going through a lot of abuse. Kind of needed somebody to talk to. It's almost as though I was really receptive, really needed it. And God always had a really great sense of humor. It was when you feel warm, like if somebody really loved you and you just could be yourself. You're the best person that you could possibly be around, this person, or I don't know. That's what I felt when I really, really had a really close connection with God. That acceptance was like, you're free to be whoever you want to be, and you're not judged, and you're loved completely, all aspects of you. There's no focus on any of your mistakes whatsoever, but there is huge focus on everything that you're great at. And there's a beauty to that, because it's when there's so much focus on everything that you do that's right, everybody wants to do more of what you're doing is right. If people compliment you, you want to hear more compliments, so you'll do more and more and more things that get people, paying attention to you. Everybody does that. But we are human, and we are social beings, and we do need attention, so some of us behave poorly to get the attention. But you actually get twice as much when somebody is actually paying attention to good things about you. Now you can try and get the other people to say, hey, I got some good points, but other people don't tend to want to pay attention to anything good about you. They just want to pay attention to everything that's bad about you. And a funny thing is that if people keep calling you stupid, you'll turn into stupid. If people want to call you lazy, you'll turn into lazy. If any name calling or any focus on the negative, you actually are creating it. So, parents that don't want their kids to turn out to things that you're worried about them turning into, don't pay attention to that at all. Focus on something that they do is good, and spend 24 hours talking and talking and talking and talking about the good shit. And it's just like, it only makes common sense that if you fill up a kid's time 24 hours a day of his time on good shit, there ain't no time left for bad shit. So, and then there's I gotta work, and I got daycare and school involvement. Yeah, all of that stuff, life gets in the way, but still, the amount of time that a parent can spend with their child focusing on what's good will create while those times are away, more and more things that are good, because, when the time comes, hey, Mom, look what I did. But that isn't just with parent-child relationship. This is like a connection with God relationship that, when you're doing something bad. You got this good voice and bad voice going on. Every single one of us have it. The world is getting so bad where crime pays, that voice that says it's wrong is, you have your survival. I got to survive. So that justifies it, because, now they're kind of making it illegal to grow your own food. If you can't get food from any source, if the only source is to take it, then, you can justify that in your mind, where God provided. So, and that's basically how our economic system works, that, God provides for those who work hard. So working hard means stealing as much money off you can. That's how bankers work. They go to church. They steal at you from day and ask for forgiveness on a Sunday. Anyway. You know the difference. And not that I can ever say this, but I think the further you go away from what's good, then you lose that God connection feeling. Like, you can only get that feeling, that acceptance, when you're really, really connected with God. And you kind of lose it the more you get off God. So I can kind of see why people need a Bible, because if your attachment to God is inside a book, you are so far away from God, because God will guide you down the right direction all the time. It's how to love your neighbor. It's how to be a good person. There's zero awareness of greed, because that is not what God's about. God's about providing you with everything you need. Never ever begging for it, but more of, thanks God, before you even get it. That's kind of how God works, is that He's got this magic wand that He waves right in front of you as soon as you ask for anything that you need, but it's your job to be able to see it, because it'll always come bigger and better than what you think you need. He'll always give you twice as good. So that's what I say. You can ask God just about any question, but you got to be God-like. You got to be loving and peaceful and concerned about you, loving yourself, loving your family, loving your community, loving your globe, loving your, you got to have that complete, I am the creator of the whole world and I love every aspect of everything I created type of mindset, and then ask God any question and He'll give you the answer. Sometimes when I'm really, really involved in a really deep challenge, which my life has been full of many, many challenges, and you would think, okay, well, God, how come you didn't take this away, or how come you made me hungry, or, how come you didn't provide it, my every wish, want, and desire. And it's because my soul purpose wanted to know something else. It wanted to learn something a lot more valuable than what it was like to drive a fancy car or to have a big fancy house. God wanted me, and to tell you the truth, I personally think that one came from me, that I really wanted to know the meaning of life, why everything was going on. I always had questions like that before I was even in kindergarten. I wanted to know some serious answers to some serious questions. So God didn't provide me that house. He didn't provide me with those fancy cars. He provided me with a way for me to learn what it is I wanted to learn, which meant I had to go through these challenges, and I had to overcome a lot of these challenges to sort of grasp the picture. And when I did ask for God and God's help, one time in particular, God works through people. He will, if there's a sign, yeah, those signs are out there. They're signs from God. They'll come through people. They'll come through, street signs might have a specific name. But when you see a connection in your universe and you say, hey, this is a sign that this is a good direction, that gotta beware of those, because sometimes those are justifying bad decisions. But when you know that it's a God thing, you know it. If there's even the slightest doubt that it's a God thing, it ain't a God thing. If you even have to question, is this a God thing? Is this a sign? Then you know for a fact that it's wrong. Doubt is always no. But with God, there is no doubt. There's like, you know, you know, you know. Anyways, this one time I was asking God, okay, what's going up? What should I do to solve this problem? The next day, a lawyer says the words. Actually, he asked me if I liked the book, Conversations with God, which talks all about how God talks with other people through other people. Anyways, as soon as that book came up, it was like, okay, I knew what he was about to say. And this lawyer says to me, well, God wants me to talk to you, and you're supposed to take everything that was done and do something with it. And it was very few words, but I knew exactly. And the night before, I had prayed to God to say, okay, which way is that? And as soon as I heard those words, I knew that my A solution was not going to be all it, and my B wasn't going to be all it, that I had to live through more years of hell because it wasn't over yet. But when it was over, I knew that something would unfold. And here I am on YouTube just spewing out. Who'd have thought I would have days and hours and lots of research that I've done that tell me what it is I know today, and I'm sharing with it. And that sort of connection with God was more than 5 years. It was like 5-6 years ago, where I kind of knew where I would be today, doing what I'm doing today. And that was through a connection with God. It's like you will get your answers. One in particular answer, which was clear as day, was, no, I can't tell you all the answers to everything, Judy. The whole point of it is for you to go through it without knowing. And then one day it will all be clear and you'll understand why I couldn't give you every freaking answer. But you will get what you need to develop the knowing that you need in the stages that you need to have it, basically. But it's like, get a connection with God, because the more he will give you answers, and that's the only way to go through it, is you need to get some really good answers for your own life, not for my life. You won't get it from a Bible. You need to get it from that direct connection with God. And you will feel loving, you will feel accepting. During the times you think are next to impossible are the times that you're really, really comfortable. You know that you're being taken care of. And you'll always get an answer. There won't be ever a time where I don't know what to do. You'll always get a good direction if you have a good connection with God. But it's very individual. I think when you have a really good connection with God, you're not judging other people. That's the one problem I have with religion, is that they're all, I'm better than you, and you are going to hell, and you need to believe in Jesus, and all of that. That is war. That is somebody separating themselves from the whole. And God doesn't work that way at all. I mean, if you really want to go through what happens after you're dead, first of all, nobody knows for sure. We know the Queen has messed around with the Bible, and we know that their relatives even before then have we know damn well that they wrote the whole friggin' book. And look at the Queen. Do you think God talks to her directly? She seems a little angry, seems to be a little greedy. I don't think she's getting quite the connection with God as she thinks she is. Because I ain't seeing no caring for no people. I mean, the end result is, are there smiles on the people's faces? Don't think so. If there is no smiles, then she ain't getting it right, which means she's not getting the connection with God. You can kind of see who's connected with God just by what happens after they have this connection with God. How are they affecting the world? So, it's well worth having a connection with God. I'm a big believer in God. Kind of love Satan for what he does, and it's like, want to be down that wrong path, he will show you that wrong path, and I am so grateful he's got a sign there that says wrong way. Gotta love the guy for at least pointing you in the right direction, which is not here. You know, there's always something good about everything that's bad. It's all in how you want to look at it. So that's somewhat of my understanding of a connection with God when you do have one. Try it out. What do you think? Peace out.